Good morning, I'm Councillor Glen and today is Saturday, August the 30th. I can't believe we're at the end of August. This morning I'm on Stittsville Main Street and I'm in front of the Stittsville Muslim Association building. It is just north of Abbott Street. You can see the Stittsville Legion building in the background. Some people might recognize this building a little better as the old Bradley's Insurance building. In fact, you can still see the old blue awnings there from Bradley's Insurance. Stittsville Muslim Association have been here for about a year. They're using this as a place of worship. They're using this as a community center. They have some schools and they have some day camps here as well during the summer. It's a temporary location for them. They are looking for a piece of land that they can purchase and build a mosque to have a permanent center, permanent mosque here in Stittsville to serve the growing Muslim community that we have in Stittsville. And they're really involved in the community and we're lucky to have them here. But I'm here for a negative reason, a bad reason, which is earlier this week there was some hateful racist graffiti discovered on a building in behind the main center here. Police are investigating that and I just wanted to express again my support for the Muslim community and speaking out against this instance of hate. I know that it's something that's hurt a lot of people, it's shocked a lot of people, and there's been an outpouring of support for the Muslim community from our Stittsville community at large. And I just want to make sure the Stittsville Muslim Association and all Muslims in our community know that we're here to support you, and this has no place in our Stittsville community. Now on Monday, the SMA, the Stittsville Muslim Association, they are organizing an event to have a conversation and a prayer circle to bring the community together and do some healing after this incident. And I hope that residents will join us. It's open to everyone in the community. They're asking people to gather at 11:15 here. And then at 11:30 they'll have some guest speakers and a prayer circle. So I do hope you can attend and participate in that. And I really want to thank the SMA for organizing that and putting it together. It's been a really difficult week in Ottawa. There was another just awful incident of hate and anti-Semitism in Nepean at a grocery store where an older woman was attacked. Police are investigating that as a hate crime. It's just awful. We have a lot of Jewish members of our community here in Stittsville. So again, I want to express my support, my concern for what's going on. And again, we're here with you. And I'd be interested to hear from residents as well. If they have any feedback, ideas, concerns, how do we work through this as a community? How do we continue to condemn the hateful activities that happen, but how do we better address some of the root causes of what's happening? I think a lot of it's related to material that's being shared online, things that people are hearing in the news from other countries, but I think we need to have a broader discussion about what is happening here in our community, and I would be interested in hearing from you. I also wanted to mention Ottawa Public Health has some great resources on their website, ottawapublichealth.ca, and click on mental health, and you're going to see some information there about how to deal with stressful and traumatic events, because I know a lot of people are struggling with a number of events that have happened recently in our community. And there's some great resources there, some reading material, some contact information for organizations who offer professional help. And I do encourage people to check that out and reach out if you're struggling in any way with this. Okay, we'll turn on to some local events. Another thing that's been happening this summer, we've had a lot of issues around bike safety and pedestrian safety. So I'm really glad to see that the staff at CARDELREC are organizing a bike safety rodeo today. It's this afternoon from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. It's at CARDELREC. It's aimed at kids, but families are welcome, everyone's welcome. No registration required, no fee. So please check that out. Great timing right as we're about to head into the school year. And for more upcoming events, go to my website, glengower.ca/events. You can see weekly events like the parkrun that happens on Saturdays and the weekly farmers market, market at the barn that happens on Sundays. And there's all sorts of events coming up in September as well. Want to encourage residents to sign up for cleaning the Capitol this fall. You can get a group of coworkers or neighbors on your street, or maybe your family. You can pick a park location or green space location in Stittsville, and you can go out and clean it up, and it's a big way to help out in the community. In the spring, we had more people participating in cleaning the Capitol in Stittsville than any other city ward across Ottawa, so I hope we can get a great turnout again in September. In the news this week, return to office. The city manager in Ottawa announced that city employees, good morning, how are you? All good, all good. City manager announced that they would be bringing municipal employees back to the office 5 days a week, January 1st. Now, about 85% of city workers are already back full-time. Most of them are on the ground 5 days a week. Garbage workers, paramedics, police, snowplow drivers, and so on. But about 15% are still working in a hybrid arrangement. It's about 2,500 employees. I'm not a big fan of this. Obviously, we have a big federal public servant population in Stittsville, and I know there's a lot of concern about whether or not the federal public service will stay hybrid or go back to 5 days a week. I posted something on my Facebook, got a ton of engagement, so thank you for your comments on that. We aren't ready to send thousands and thousands of people back to the office 5 days a week. We don't have the social infrastructure. Things like daycare services, even school buses, are not back to where they were pre-pandemic. Not that they were great pre-pandemic either, but that's a big concern. Our transportation network, sending back 2,500 city employees is not going to be a huge strain on OC Transpo or even on the traffic at large. But if you were to send back tens of thousands of public servants 5 days a week, there would be issues. Maybe a couple years from now that's less acute, but certainly now it would be an issue. So lots of concerns about that announcement from the city, and thank you to residents who have shared your thoughts about that as well. Another thing this week, there was a power outage that affected a number of communities, Amberwood, Wildwood, Granite Ridge. We do have a cause that was on Thursday evening. It was a tree branch that contacted a wire that put the power out. I think power was out for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I understand there was a power outage the week before, August 21st, affecting some of the same neighborhoods. And that Hydro Ottawa tells us was a cable fault. We are putting together an information meeting with Hydro Ottawa and some other city departments coming up later this fall. I hope we'll have a date that we can announce soon, hopefully announcing a date in the next couple weeks, and that'll be an interesting event. I know there's a lot of questions and concerns, rightfully so, about the frequent power outage that we've seen here in Stittsville in a number of neighborhoods. This Wednesday, a Planning and Housing Committee. On the agenda is 1174 Carp Road, a application for rezoning. This is for the proposed retirement residence with the tall building, 14 stories. It would also include a new city park on Hazeldean there, Carp and Hazeldean. There's information on my website, glengower.ca, including if you're interested in sending a formal comment to the committee or even delegating at committee where you speak to committee, please check that out, and if you need more information, get in touch with me. And I think I mentioned this last week, but I'll mention it again. There are a preliminary plan for the Idylea linear park, or the Idylea pathway, on my website and at Engage Ottawa. So if you live around that area, it backs onto Samuel Mann, John Sidney, Liard, Caribou. That's the pathway that's going to go between the old neighborhood and the new neighborhood. So please do check that out. And finally, good luck to students, to teachers, to parents with back to school for the English school boards happening this week on Tuesday, and a lot of people heading back to the office as well. If you're planning to use OC Transpo, my tips are use the Transit app. This is a great app. It's free. You can plan your route, but you can also see real-time bus information. That's the Transit app. If you're easing into public transit, going back to the office this fall, can I recommend start with the park and ride? You've got way more bus options, and a lot of people find that more convenient, so that's one way to ease into it. And then some people find they get used to the bus system, and then they move to using the local routes as well and dropping the park and ride. Your results may vary. If you're not sure about the best routes to use or how to use the system or any questions, send me an email. A resident sent me an email looking for help about getting to Ottawa University this fall. I use the bus a lot and happy to provide any first-hand advice that you'd like. Just send me a note. And now for back to school, safety on the roads. Please slow down in school zones. Avoid school zones altogether if you can. I know it's not always possible, but if you can shift if you drive through a school zone on your way to work, if you can shift your time a little bit earlier or a little bit later to avoid being there when it's the busiest, that'd be a huge help. Now, if you do have to drive through a school zone, make sure you're following the speed limit. Make sure you are following all the no parking and no stopping restrictions. That's extremely important. They're not there to inconvenience you, they're there for the safety of the kids. So please follow that directly. Ottawa Safety Council also, they have some great information on their website, some back to school safety tips. This is great for kids and families about cycling, about walking, and about driving safely in school zones. So please do check that out. Ottawa Safety Council is the group that manages all of the crossing guards in Ottawa. Okay, that was a super long update. I wasn't going to do an update here on the long weekend, but there was so much going on, I thought it was important to do so. Thank you for watching all the way through. Have a great long weekend, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.